Hey guys, I'm Brent and welcome to the Daily Devo. And today we're going to be talking about believing what a person shows you. So one of my favorite poets without question is none other than Maya Angelou. And I think one of the best lines that she has ever written, it goes like this. If a person shows you who they are, believe them. I'll never forget, I was in college, I was taking economics, and your boy is not an economics guy. And I was asking a question because I was completely and totally confused. So as I asked this question, and this is the first week of classes, the professor looks at me and is like, I can't believe this fool asked this question. Now, I thought it was a good question, but that's neither here nor there. I want you to pay attention to how the professor responded to me. He hears my question, he turns around, he starts writing back on the board, and then he says in front of everybody in the class, I don't answer every question. See, it was in that very moment I knew that I needed to drop that class. And the reason why I knew I needed to drop that class is because, watch this, based off of the professor's actions, I knew he wasn't going to be the type of professor that would show any kind of grace, nor would he give any kind of mercy. More than likely, he was going to be extremely vicious. It's the same type of vicious behavior that Jesus talks about in Matthew chapter 7, verses 15 through 20. And let's take a look at it and see what Jesus has to say. Here's what he says, beginning at verse number 15. He says, beware of false prophets who come disguised as harmless sheep, but are really vicious wolves. You see, the question that you and I should be asking ourselves is how can we tell the difference between a harmless sheep and a vicious wolf? Let's look at the next verse. Here's what it says. He says, you can identify them by their fruit. That is, by the way they act. You see, the truth of the matter is some of us, we're facing questions such as, hey, should I be in a relationship with this person or not be in a relationship with this person? Should I start a friendship with this person or not start a friendship with this person? Should this person be my teacher or a mentor? Or should they not be my teacher or a mentor? Because I don't know, are they a wolf? Or are they a sheep? And Jesus is basically saying the best way that you can tell whether or not a person is a wolf or a sheep is by simply observing the way that they act. Here's what he goes on to say. He says this. He says, can you pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? And you and I already know the answer to that question is no. But he goes on to say this. He says, a good tree produces good fruit, and a bad tree produces bad fruit. A good tree can't produce bad fruit, and a bad tree can't produce good fruit. So the question becomes is, hey, how do I know whether or not a person is this good tree producing good fruit, or this person is a bad tree producing bad fruit? Well, the person who actually gives the answer is one of my favorite apostles of all time, and that's none other than the Apostle Paul. And the answer is found over in Galatians chapter number 5. And here's what Paul has to say as relates to identifying people who are good trees with good fruit and bad trees with bad fruits. It starts in verse number 19. He says this, when you follow the desires of your sinful nature, this is a bad tree, the results are very clear. Here's the bad fruit. Sexual immorality, impurity, lustful pleasures, idolatry, sorcery, hostility, quarreling, jealousy, outbursts of anger, selfish ambition, dissension, division, envy, drunkenness, wild parties, and all other sins alike. This is clearly wolf behavior. So then the question becomes, hey, what's sheep behavior? That's found in verse 22. It says this, but the Holy Spirit produces this kind of fruit in our lives: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. This is the harmless sheep. This is the person who you say, yeah, I think I want to be in a relationship with them. This is the person who say, yes, we can start a friendship. Yes, this is the person who could be my mentor or my teacher. So let's see how Jesus concludes the matter. Verse number 19 and 20, here's what he says. So every tree that does not produce good fruit is chopped down and thrown into the fire. Yes, just as you can identify a tree by its fruit, so you can identify people by their actions. So as it relates to making this decision, whether or not a person is a wolf or a sheep, I will go back to what Maya Angelou says. If someone shows you who they are, If they show you their fruit, believe them.